for their pregame warm-up, presented by Scott Credit Union. Your
Blue Note Fan Report with a little dose of Windy City hockey. How are you doing, my friend Windy?
Doing all right. How are you?
I'm good. I'm hoping for a shit show free Monday.
Okay.
I guess you didn't see my show yesterday.
No, I did not.
Oh my good. Thank goodness you didn't, man. People got invited into the show that just wanted to destroy the show. And they did a pretty damn good job, at least the front part. And, you know, I thought I had some real people on there and I was trying to be nice, but it got to a point where I just said, fuck it and cut people out, you know, and I got to be careful now, you know, from now on, unless I know the absolute reason why you have to be on my show with video.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And, you know, I know what Lance is going through. If Lance needs to come on without video, I'm cool with that. But anybody else, you need to have video. Right. I'm not that was just a fucking embarrassment yesterday. I mean, it's more embarrassing than me going off and saying things like that. Colin Smith says, hey, McDavid said you were trolled yesterday, guy. That wasn't Trevor. He just read the wiki of him verbatim. Yeah, I have a feeling that's what happened yesterday. I mean, I don't know the guy well enough. I'm not a huge baseball fan, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I got really, really trolled yesterday. And it just sucks that someone would go and do that and be that fucking much of an idiot. But hey, I'm here, you know. I'm gonna learn from it, and I'm gonna make it better. Hey, guy, I didn't want to try and be the bearer of bad news, but you're my buddy, and that wasn't Trevor Rotherford. The other guys are just chump. Yeah, I know, and I'm sorry, but you know what? Let's talk hockey, man. Let's talk some hockey. There's a lot. I've been looking at like free agency, and the guys that are left, there's still some names out there.
Yeah, there are
that are surprising. And for me, who is the most surprising about you that's still out there?
I know everyone's going to go to the obvious one in Nazem Kadri, so I'm not even going to go with Kadri here. The most obvious one, I would have to say, is Phil Kessel.
Yeah. That's the one. That's mine. I to me, Kessel is more of a surprise than Kadri is. Right.
I don't think it's a surprise on Kadri because I think it's a little bit of a surprise just because usually the big players are already off the board by now, and he's like the last one that still remains.
Yeah, but if you you know. I don't know what Tyler Stewart is an actual, you know, he was the St. Louis Blues E-Bug, right? I know that for a fact. Mm-hmm. I seen him. I know it. But he thought he was trying to help the show out, and some of the guys that were in the chat just thought that they were going to come in here and be, you know, they just destroyed the show. And I don't want to be honest, that's the end of it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I really don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to deal with it. Let's talk about what's going on. And I'm with you. For me, Kadri, I think fans will look at his numbers and go, wow, my God, he's great. He's amazing. Teams are going to look at him and it's a body of work. And his body of work just doesn't, they see what he is, right? I mean, he can help a team, but he can hurt a team. He can hurt a team just as quickly as he can help a team.
Mm-hmm.
Just as quickly. I mean,
here's the thing. I have a weird suspicion he actually has signed a contract, and it's with the New York Islanders, because the Islanders have been known to do this type of stuff, and especially like last year, they signed players. They didn't announce the signings until right up until training camp. And I would not be surprised if Kadri is a New York Islander.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't put it past. I wouldn't put it past Lou Lamoriello, right? I would not put it past. And I just seen a really good question. I want to bring this up. Redbeard, and I know you talk about being trolled. Now I know I'm being trolled, right? Redbeard's an Avalanche fan, and I'm joking with him. He supports us, and I get that. I love it. Thank you, Redbeard. He says, are you worried about the future of Tarasenko in St. Louis with his name being floated around as possible to Chuck trade? You know what? I seen that trade, and I'll tell you what. As soon as I seen that trade, one thing was now hey Dad, Tyler, I don't think you trolled me. I think other people did, and that's I want to put that out there for sure, right? Right. So I know Tyler's a good guy, and I appreciate him, and thanks, Tyler. The Islanders don't have a coach. He's not going there.
Islanders have a coach, and actually a good coach at that. He's comes from the Barry Trotz tree, and apparently he's been viewed as a next head coach for for the past few years now.
Well, you know what, Tyler, and I'm not, and just let me. I'm going to end this right here, but I want to say this, Tyler. I appreciate you. I know you're real, and I know that I reached out to you to try and help the show. Maybe that didn't come off right. If you can help, great. If you can't, that's fine too. But I don't want what happened yesterday to happen again. That just was for me way too much, and I can't deal with that. Right. And that's the end of that. Back to what? Yeah, I could see that with the Islanders. I'm lost. Let's get back to the Redbeard thing here and Tarasenko trade. Did you see that possible trade that was out there that got listed of what the Blues offered?
I believe I did, but if you say it, I probably will remember.
It was Tarasenko, Scandella, and a first round and a prospect.
And that was St. Louis offering that?
Yeah, that was the St. Louis offer to and actually, speak of the devil, Matt's on NHL Network right now.
Yeah, if I'm the frickin' Flames, I'm not taking that deal.
Yeah, well, it's here's the thing. As soon as I saw that deal, the first thing that came to my mind was this is somebody who knows how to rile up Blues fans, right? Because right now, 50% of Blues, maybe a little less than that, want Tarasenko gone at no cost, no matter what the cost. Just they bought into the narrative that he doesn't want to be here. They bought into the quote unquote trade request. They bought into all of that, and that's just how they feel. Okay, that's fine. But then you add the Scandella part of this. Most Blues fans look at Scandella as the weakest link to last year's team. Ashley, my co-host, she was heavily on that. Oh my God, Scandella this, Scandella that. And
the full,
say again?
Yeah, the whole rant.
My rant on Scandella. I like Scandella. I do. I think Scandella in the right spot can be that guy.
I just think he's overpaid. That's my thing with Scandella.
Not at $3 million. I mean, if he was
he's
getting
overpaid
$5,
at $3 million. In my opinion, he's a $1.5 million defenseman. That's it. Not a $3 million defenseman.
And you might be right. You might be right. I'm not going to disagree. I don't know. Word from someone inside info. He's waiting for Colorado to either trade JT Compher or Samuel Girard. It's still more likely he remains with Colorado.
If that's the case, that makes sense.
Yeah, that would make Colorado probably one of the better teams in the league.
If I'm Colorado, I would not be trying to give up Girard and Compher. I think they're
it says either or. The thing says either or.
Yeah.
Right.
But
and I
can
can see that.
comes to Chicago, a Chicago boy in a Blackhawk uniform would be kind of nice right now with how bad this team is.
Oh my
we
goodness!
Need someone in Chicago.
What do you think about offers from other teams coming out after a player signs? I like it. I don't have an issue with it.
Yeah.
Right. I would really. You know what?
I'm okay with that.
I would rather be behind the closed doors. I would like some of that stuff to come out because some of that stuff is interesting. Lance, man, how you doing today?
Not too bad. How are you guys?
Hey, not bad, not bad. We're just having a good day. I apologize for what happened yesterday, Lance. I know you were part of that. I do do really, apologize for it. And, I'm right now, like you have to be on video on my show, and you're the only exception to that because I know who you are and I know why.
Yeah. No, I
Right?
understand. Hey, it's no big deal. Sometimes stuff happens, and it's a live show, and things don't always go the way you think they're gonna go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, oh, by the way, Wendy, I needed to tell you something, and I might have a new friend for you. There is a Blackhawks podcast that works with inside the rink, one of the websites that I write for here and there,
Mhm.
and I told him about you, so you might have seen might seen a follow from Q the Dagger.
Yeah, I got followed by them. Yeah, I think yesterday or something like
Yep,
that.
yep. So I'd like one time that they come on the show. I mean, we're trying to set something up. I'd like you to try and have you in there with it.
Okay.
Would you be cool with that?
Yeah.
You, Q the Dagger, me, and Lance. You got four podcasts there to talk about what's going on. Where are we at now? I'm lost.
Kadri.
Yeah, with Kadri, with Kadri, I meant that with Kadri, I meant that the thought process that teams know what he is, and that's why they're staying away. Colorado, to me, is the only team that he can go to make sense. But look what you got to give up, right? Gerard or Comfer. And do you think that he's going to have another 100-point season? I know. I honestly don't. I don't think he has another 100-point season.
Goes. It really just depends on where.
Even in Colorado, I don't think he has another one in Colorado.
I think he could because he'll be pretty much on the same line as he was last year. He could easily do what he did last year. If he goes to like the Islanders, that team's offensively challenged already with their age, and they only have one true offensive dynamo on their team. If he goes to the Islanders, his numbers are going to dip for sure. But if he goes to a team that has offensive upside, he will, in my opinion, still put up good numbers. Will he put up 100 points? Maybe. If he doesn't, if it's like a 90-point season, maybe an 85-point season, which is doable, that makes sense. That works.
Yeah.
100 points is a tough one to come by, but with how scoring is now in the NHL, going up each and every year, he could easily do another 100-point season.
Yeah. Redbeard says if we can't get Kadri for 7.5 for 4 to 5 years, 7 years is way too much for his age. I'd say go with a Paul Stastny. That's another one that surprises me that he's still out there. Huh?
Bringing back Paul Stastny to the Avalanche. I would not have thought of hearing that one.
Well, I mean, Stastny wasn't bad. I mean, I like
No,
Stastny.
he wasn't, but he's a player now that's only signing 1-year deals.
That I could see.
And he's not what he was when he was in Colorado.
To me, you know what Kadri is to me, and I think about this. Remember in 2021 season, the truncated season because of COVID, the free agent of that season, the free agent, was Mike Hoffman. Everybody talked about Mike Hoffman. Mike Hoffman's going to get $6 to $7 million for a long-term deal. Lance, you remember this?
Yeah, I definitely remember this.
Right? Everybody, Hoffman this, Hoffman that. And then what's he do? He turns around and signs a 1-year deal with St. Louis for $4 million. Less than what he was making. Right? Kind of bet on himself. Redbeard says that they have Newhook, that's the future 2C, but he's not ready yet. See, I don't think
Newhook is maybe a year away from being the full-time number 2 center.
Yeah, but do you get Kadri for a 1-year deal though? And I don't think you do.
No.
right? If you're going to make him your number 2 center, then you want to get somebody. Oh, what's this? Oh well, I don't know. Tyson Kachuk definitely knows about the Florida deal. His dad is Maddie's agent. Oh, I mean, we had Tyson on, and Tyson gave us some information, and that's okay. That's not what I'm talking about right now. Oh man, I'm getting frustrated. Yeah, I'm still reeling from Sunday. So, hey, Shaggy, how you doing, buddy?
Awesome. How are you?
Hey, not too bad, not too bad. Thanks a lot for showing up. Yes,
My pleasure.
Tyson was a great guest, and I appreciated him. What's on your mind, man? You hit me up earlier asking to come on. So what's on your mind, bud?
Yeah, I actually there was something going on in our chat about Kadri to the Islanders, and I felt like we have to understand something about Nazem Kadri that I think people are not realizing, and it needs to be clarified. And it really was bothering me a lot. Nazem Kadri controls his path of destiny. This is not a question of this is not just a question of money. This is not just a question of where he wants to be. We know what Kadri's personality is. It's a little bit of a rough personality, and he's also going to want to have a certain competitiveness with his team. So when people say I want to be on a competitive team, they're not just referring to I want to be on the top teams. They're trying to just take away all the dumb teams that will just throw out a deal to them, and they go like, "Excuse me, I don't need a deal like that from you. I don't need to be bothered by you." A team like the Coyotes, a team like the Sabres, all these type of teams who are just going to knock on his door and say, "Well, we'll hand you that money to come." But at the end of the day, it's not possible. That's not something that they could really do. So in order to get rid of those teams, what does he do? He very simply says, I want a contender. Then there goes those teams. Next, we all know Nazem Kadri wants to have a lot of money. Okay, now who has that money? Okay, now that takes away a bunch of more teams. The team that comes in my mind to make the most sense money-wise is the Islanders. They've been looking for that big name. I know people say, oh, they have enough centers. But excuse me, I'm sorry to say, on a team like that has scoring problems, you make it work when you get that good of a player. You try to make the line work. You don't say, oh, he's too many centers, let's try to work something out. I would drop a center to pick up a Nazem Kadri, player-wise. Now, attitude-wise, I absolutely hate the guy, okay? And I think we all hate the guy. But the Islanders are a scrappy team. They are a team that they might be able to he might be able to fit with. And if I think he's going to another team, I could see him go to that team. Now, someone said earlier, oh, no, the Avalanche are trying to work out a deal with him. I'm sorry to tell you, but the Avalanche would have signed him already.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think so,
That's
too.
true. They would have had a contract made already.
Right?
And they would have spoken to him. He's been on this team for this. He's been on this team. He's not someone that just woke up one day and said, oh, hi, I'm leaving this team. I don't want to come. No, they've spoken. He just won a cup with them. He knows exactly what's going on. Okay? And the fact that he doesn't want to go with them or that they can't work out a deal shows you he's probably not coming back. And the people that assume, oh, they really wanted him back. Excuse me, the Avalanche won their cup. And now at this point, it's a question of repeating. And they could probably, with everyone that they're re-signing and keeping with their team, I know they lost a couple of players, but I'm sorry to say you have Nathan McKinnon, the second best player in hockey.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? And they've done a better job building around him than
in the world.
David. Exactly. When you have the best defenseman and you have the second best player in the NHL, and you have and right now, by the way, I know you guys will think I'm a little nuts. You have a very serviceable goalie.
I agree. I like Georgiev. I think that's a good pickup by them. I honestly think he's better than Kemper, in my opinion.
Do you think you think he's an upgrade on Kemper?
He's not an upgrade, meaning I'll explain to you the thing about Georgiev, and that is he's a guy who needs to play really every single game.
Mhm.
He's a guy who really needs to be starting constantly. And when he's behind the Igor Shesterkin, he's not going to look good. Because even if he gives up 3 goals in a game, 4 goals in a game, you're going to tell me, excuse me, he stunk in that game because you have an Igor. You have the Vezina winner in front of him. Anytime you have a Vezina winner in front of a player like that, you're going to see, you're going to see the backup goalie is going to look stinky. All right. But if you go ahead, oh, hey, what's up? How do you call it? If you go ahead and add him as a starter and say, Georgiev, you're our starter, I think we could see a whole nother Georgiev.
Yeah,
Well,
but it's
and-
my
and
thing.
by the way,
I
guys,
look at
By the way,
I
you
look
also
at the
realize-
Avalanche, and I look at Georgiev, and I think that he's a guy that needs a really, really good defense in front of him, right? And I don't think he's got that with the Avalanche. Their defense is an offensive defense, not a defensive defense. Does that make sense? Right?
It's
To me, they're
different.
more.
I mean, the Rangers played a very defensive game. They played a they always sent in the puck the other way. The puck wasn't in their zone. They try to keep it as much as they can out of the zone. I mean, one second. There's this guy McDavid MVP. Could you bring up his comment?
Which one?
Kyle McCarr.
This one?
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Someone just insulted me really badly because I'm sorry. Someone just ticked my clock. Kyle McCarr is not one of the best. It's not one of the best. He is by no question asked. Rangers fan thinks Fox is in his class still. Okay, let's back up. Who won the North 2 years ago? Fox. Okay.
Fox did, yeah.
So now you can't give. Look, I'm going to tell you like this. Is McCarr better than Fox this year? Yes, he was. Is McCarr in general better than Fox? Possibly. But don't tell me that a Ranger fan has no excuse to think that Fox is in his class. I don't understand people. Fox is allowed to be an argumentative best defenseman with McCarr.
I
You
would
can't
put
tell
Fox
me, yes,
in the
McCarr
top.
might actually beat him out on it.
I would put Fox in the top 5 with McCarr, Hedman, and Yossi. It's all like right
100%.
beside each
Right.
other.
That's
Those
right.
are
You know what? I
top 5
actually,
in my
I don't know if
opinion.
you guys agree. Well, you know what? I actually think, I don't know if you guys agree that between like the top 5 defensemen and below, it's actually a huge jump.
Oh yeah.
I think, yeah.
Sorry, guys.
I
Give me a
think
second. You
so.
guys
I
talk for a
think
second.
a
I'm
lot
gonna take myself off.
Okay.
All right. This.
That's our show now.
Okay, guys, what are we going to? Did we scare him off?
Something happened.
No, I just some of the stuff in the chat room. I'm trying to remain calm. So, just trying to just get. I just needed a second. I just needed a second to breathe.
Here's the thing I'm going to say about Fox and McCarr. If you tell me I want a very good defenseman that's got some offensive skill, I'm going to take Fox. If I want a defenseman that's just basically all offense, I'm going to take McCarr. But in all honesty, if somebody says you can have Fox for this amount and you can have McCarr for what he makes, I'm sorry, I'm going to take Fox because I think he's more of that guy that's the Norris caliber type. And nothing against McCarr. McCarr's a great player. He's a great offensive defenseman. But I don't know, Shaggy. Do you agree? I think Fox is more of a skilled defenseman on both sides. Is he super offensive? No. Is he good enough offensive? Yes. He's pretty good. But I like his game. I really do.
His game is unique, and I'll explain to you why.
Yep.
He plays an amazing defensive game, and people don't realize it. And
Yes.
he also plays an offensive game where he's not exactly the one that's going to score the most goals, but he's going to help bring down almost like every single type of play. He'll be great on the power play. He'll be good in the penalty kill. He's like good on all these situations where I think as McCarr might just be better for your 5-on-5 where you're pretty much bringing in an extra offensive player. So you're anyways going to put on more pressure. But with the Avalanche type of offense, they many times anyways brought the defenseman in on the offense. So in that type of situation, Makar's going to look good, or any defenseman will look anyways a better scorer because they're being brought in on the offense. I think people need to notice the types of offenses, because when you play a Rangers type of offense, you're not exactly asking for your defenseman to come into the offensive zone and be your playmakers. You're asking Panarin to do that, and you're asking your defenseman to just be there for the cleanup shots. So if that's true, so then like you can't really compare the two.
That's a really good point, Shag. Really, really good point.
Yeah, they're two totally different players in my mind.
Well, for me, the Norris doesn't have meaning anymore. I mean, it's lost. It's supposed to be for the best defenseman, but really it's for the best offensive defenseman, right? To me, when you're looking at best defenseman, I'm looking at a guy, a really good defenseman is going to play 20 to 24 minutes a night, going to have a plus minus somewhere in the even range, right? Maybe a plus here or there, but his job is to keep the puck help keep the puck out of the net and move the puck around. And get the puck out, be somewhat of a playmaker, be a neutral zone guy, right? That's what I think a solid defenseman is, right?
Yep. I was going to see, I don't know if you see that question by Assad. You want to answer that, Shaggy?
1 second.
Tisov of New York.
Yep.
I have a question. What is the projection of Kravtsov of New York? Okay. Kravtsov's a hard situation because Kravtsov last year got into an argument with Drury and the managing staff, and it seems like there was a very big problem there between him and the entire system, whereas he started making a little bit of problems, and he was actually being offered in a lot of deals. Kravtsov was something that the Rangers felt was a player that's very good and NHL ready, but a player that potentially may not be for the system. He might be better for someone a little bit outside the system, maybe, and he's a good piece enough where if you would send him I always said that he should have been in a deal for Yanni Gourde, was a guy I really wanted last year.
That's a good take. That's a real good take.
He was a player I really liked because I liked him for my depth. I like the way he, controls the lower lines. So that was a guy I said that, but if you offered a guy like Kravtsov for him with like a pick, it would have been actually a pretty fair deal because Kravtsov, I think, is NHL ready. So you'd bring in a younger version. You'd bring in a guy who's going to maybe give you way more years and potentially could be a very great player. The problem is that the Rangers felt like, okay, we're done with this guy. Then in this offseason, and a lot of people don't know this, he contacted the managing staff and said, I would love to play for your team. So let's work something out. And the Rangers said, sure. So then I'm getting a little bit suspicious. Like, why are you just saying sure? This guy is a guy that didn't want to be in your system and seemed to have had problems. But I think the Rangers have decided that they're going to have some very big decisions next offseason. And adding a guy like Kravtsov, who's a cheaper version of half the other players you could add. And if he brings you some very surprising hockey with Sammy Blais coming back, you're actually going to bring in a line, your third line of Hedl, Sammy Blais, and Kravtsov. That'll actually be pretty good. I mean, if Sammy Blake even play how he did at the beginning of the year, I like to see a little better than that. But Sammy Blais, the fact that we traded Buchnevich for him still tells you there was something in Blais. It's not like everyone thinks when they think about the Buchnevich trade, they think, oh, we gave you Connor McDavid for who knows his name, who knows who. Okay, we actually gave you a solid player, and you guys gave us a solid player back. Now Buchnevich has really shown out more, so everyone now bashes that. While Blais has really not played much. So we haven't really seen him in the core part of the Rangers offense. Let's see what happens when he's actually on a team where he's not even on the first or second line where he started last year. You understand how good the Rangers got? Let's think about that. Last year he was on the first line. Okay, and now he's on the third line. Think about how much of a jump step that is of development of your team. Okay, now Kravtsov's going to come in and make a very big effect. But again, this is what I like to call the cheap version of an offseason where you brought in a big player like I'm blinking right now, and you brought in a fantastic center, right? That'll bring you some fantastic playing and takes over for Strome, and I think he's better than Strome. And then you said, well, I'm not going to spend more than that. I'll bring in a fourth line center with Carpenter, and then I'll bring in, I think they brought in one more player, but they didn't bring much after that. Even though I wanted them to, let's say, instead of going after Carpenter and Trocheck, to go after, actually, in my sense, I wanted Paul Stastny and another solid player, where I'm not getting one great player and one small player. I'm getting two players with more, easy ones. So whatever it is, it's Kravtsov's a test, and we're going to have to see how it goes. But it was a cheap version, and we'll have to see what happens.
Okay, great. Chris Lambert brings up a question I want to talk about. He says, another big question comes to mind for the Blues, and I'm sure everyone knows this one. How are we going to fill David Perron's void? In my mind, the Blues bombed on that move, crippling themselves. Chris, I disagree with you so much on this, right? Perron went from a 1.03 points per game player to a 0.85 per game player. He had two injuries. He went from playing 100% of a season to playing, I think it was 75%. He played 65 games or something like that. 75% of a season. At his age, there's some things that I don't. The money was what it was. Here's, and Armstrong offered it to two guys, and whoever took it first got it. Perron didn't think that the deal was worth him, and he left. That doesn't mean to me that just because Perron leaves that you're going to have this huge void. 27 goals can be filled by other guys that get a chance that didn't get a chance when Perron was here, right?
And let's be honest, he'll somehow find a way back in St. Louis in a year or two.
You know what? I don't think so. I think this was the hard divorce.
I'm really just being sarcastic. Let's be honest.
No, I think it was a hard divorce. That's kind of what I look at.
By the way, you do realize that the Blues. I know that people look at it like, oh my gosh, you guys lost a big player, but you guys have some young players that came up and played really well. I mean, you're just going to move people up and it's just going to make you somewhat better, because Perron was again, let's go back to that line of the cheap version of making yourself, hockey is a cap sport. Okay. Mm-hmm. Hockey's a sport you really have to play your cap right. Most sports, you go over the cap, you'll take the penalty and you move on. Here you're dealing with a situation where you got to keep this cap right. And a lot of teams try to keep that cap, keep that cap. So now you're in a situation where if you go ahead and sign a big named player to the Blues, you're in a sense saying to yourself, oh, we had a long way to go and we needed to fill it. I think the Blues believe in themselves. We have O'Reilly. We have Robert Thomas. We have a good goalie. We could just take our young players, move them up, and because we have such great players on those top two lines, and we could fill in a third and fourth line, because look how we did. We didn't stink against – our third and fourth line is still around. Right? You didn't lose much from those lines.
No, I was looking at it last night. There was only like a minute or two difference between the guys that played on the top line and the guys that played on the third line. Right? It wasn't a huge difference. Right? No, the guys on the on the third line were playing 15, 16 or 16, 17 minutes a game, not playing 13 to 15 minutes a game. So the rolling of the lines really helps the Blues. I think, you've invested in Brown. You've invested in Walker. You've invested in Costin. You've invested in Neighbors, though I think Neighbors is still a year out. I know I'm missing another young name there. You've invested in some of these guys, and this is why. I think
actually Neighbors is going to come up. Yeah, I think what's his name? I think that Neighbors comes up quicker than you think. I could see Neighbors get a 9-game tryout at the beginning of the year.
I could see Neighbors get a 9-game tryout at the beginning of the year. I could see Neighbors get a 9-game tryout at the beginning of the year. I could see Neighbors get a 9-game tryout at the beginning of the year. I could see Neighbors get a 9-game tryout
The way I think
No,
it's going to happen is at the beginning of the year, Neighbors is going to go to Springfield. Bolduc's going to get his 9 games first, and then he's going to go to his junior team because once you send him to juniors, you can't bring him back, right?
Right.
So you can't let Neighbors have it first and then bring Bolduc, and Bolduc's not 20, so he can't go to Springfield. So you let Bolduc get his 9 games. If he has that type of camp and you think he needs the tryout, give him the 9-game tryout, then send him down. Bring Neighbors back and give Neighbors his 9 games. And, if Neighbors proves that he can do it, great. If not, you send him back down to Springfield. But actually, I don't know about giving him 9 games. I say give him 5. So you have some games left if you send him down and bring him back.
So Matt Lowe's saying Neighbors did have his 9-game tryout last year.
Yeah.
And if he plays 1 game, his ELC is burned.
Well, I thought it was
Nope. You
His
get 9
ELC
games.
will
9
be
games.
burned.
Yeah, you get 9 games total. So in other words, if he'd have got 5 games last year and 4 games this year,
okay.
That's his 9 games total.
Okay,
Yeah.
so his ELC will start the next game he plays.
Once he plays his 10th game, his ELC is in effect.
Okay, well, I misunderstood that. Right?
I didn't realize he had his 9-game tryout last year.
Yeah. He played the first 9. He played 8. He played 9 of the first 11 games, I think.
Okay, so yeah.
And then he went down to juniors. Right?
So his contract is at a point where once he plays his next game, he's staying up, basically.
Okay. I don't think he's ready. I don't.
I don't either, guy. I'm with you. And 90% of Blues fans, they're all enamored with this guy. Well, Armstrong likes him. Berube likes him. That's great. That doesn't mean he's going to be on the team here all year. Could I see them bringing him in, for the playoffs? Yeah, I could see that. It's not. I love Neighbors. I love what he brings, but it's not a good sign for the Blues if they have to rely on him to play every night. And I don't think it's good for him. He needs more seasoning, guys. You guys don't understand how hard it is to go from junior to the NHL, junior to the AHL, AHL to the NHL. They're different types of games. You got more skilled players in the AHL than you do in juniors. You've got more skilled players in the NHL than you do in the AHL. And a lot of these fans don't understand that. I love Jake Neighbors. He's going to be a pretty dang good player. But let him get that seasoning. Some guys just need that. And if you talk to a lot of guys, let's say when they're 26, 27, and they have that extra year of seasoning in the AHL, 99% of them are going to say, I'm glad I was able to stay in the AHL. I really needed to hone my game.
Yeah, no. So Matt Lowe says he's ready. Lots of laughs. Was Thomas ready when he came up at 19 years old? Obviously he was, because he didn't go back down. They saw something in Thomas right then in 19, and Thomas continues to show it. Thomas never went down. Remember that, right? Thomas never went down. Redbeard says, don't rush prospects. We did it with Yost and possibly ruined his career trajectory. I think you may have done it with Newhook, too, to be honest.
I don't think they did it with Newhook. Newhook had higher upside than what Tyson Jost had.
BDR says Neighbors is 20, so that's why his contract is now in effect. He has zeros, but he's on a 2-way. He's still on a 2-way. He can still go down to the minors.
His ELC is still, his ELC is in effect either way, but the first year of his contract will be burnt this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And so his ELC starts this year. They got a year of him with paying him junior money, right? Yeah. Without his contract kicking in. So that's what it was. His contract didn't kick in. They saved a year, basically, right? Daddy says Neighbors is future captain material. I'm not sold on that yet, right?
That's too early to predict.
Yeah, that's already jumping the gun. Seriously.
Yeah, I don't like it when people start wanting these 19, 20, 21, 22, even 24-year-old guys to be captain. I mean, some guys mature quickly, But it's very rare to have a 24-year-old that really has the full respect of the locker room. Now, Connor McDavid, of course, guys like that. But it's hard. And the other guys look for you to lead. A 21-year-old kid, 1 year out of the AHL or straight from juniors, he doesn't fully know how to lead a group of men in the NHL.
And look at the Hawks situation.
Mm-hmm.
Want to know who was predicted to be the future captain of this team?
I would
Both
think
of them are
DeBrincat.
gone.
DeBrincat.
Both of them are gone.
Yep.
Doc and DeBrincat were viewed as the next captain of the Chicago Blackhawks, and they're both gone on the same day, just 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
The story so far, Vince. Wow, welcome back, Vince. We haven't seen you forever. Some guys just aren't. Gabriel Landeskog, captain since he was a rookie at 19.
Hawks gave Jonathan Toews the captaincy at 19 when in his second year in the NHL also. But the reason why, they already knew he was the next captain of this team. They saw it already with him on how he played, and well, it worked out for the Hawks.
Redbeard says, are Blues fans happy with O'Reilly as captain? I thought Tarasenko got burned in that respect. I don't, because Tarasenko was injured at the beginning of 21. That's what a lot of people forget. And all this stuff about, him being disappointed over not being captain and all of that, maybe. Okay, but to me, he was injured. What good does it have to have a C and be injured? I mean, like the Canadiens captain didn't play last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, but injured. Well, what good does he do? So you got to put a C on somebody else. So, it to me, O'Reilly signified what the Blues wanted. I think that Tarasenko could be the next. If he stays and O'Reilly goes, he could be the next captain. I think Blues fans are going to get really shocked this season if we are not vying for top spot. I mean, vying for top spot and a looking like a cup favorite. I think O'Reilly's gone at the trade deadline. Unless they ink him to a deal, he doesn't have a no trade clause. He has no way to prevent a trade. Right? Armstrong has gotten killed time and time again for not trading away guys that don't have it. Right? It's amazing to me that people don't look at that. The fact that he doesn't have a no trade clause really, really is interesting to me, and it sets up Armstrong. It puts Armstrong in a very difficult position. Right? By the way, I've had up to 24 watching, 13 on the BlueNote Fan Report, and 9 on mine. I want to say a big thank you to Glenn Gray, Ashley Jones, Danny Johnson, Brad Pond, Jason Nichols, and anybody else on YouTube that puts that thumb in the air. We appreciate it. Shaggy from the New York Pangers podcast is here. Windy, or Nick from Windy City Hockey, and my friend Lance Scott from The Drop are joining us tonight.
I want to bring up something about our local writers and local guys that cover the Blues. I'm getting rather sick of their stretching the truth, lying. After the trade was made, Andy Strickland come out and said that Huberdeau told the Flames that he has no interest in signing with them, extending them right now, that he wants to test the free agency market, and that's why Florida got rid of him. Well, I said, no, that's not true. He has already told the Flames that he's open to a contract. He likes the fact they wanted him, and he wants to be someplace that they want him. And I said, a contract has been started, a dialogue has been started to sign him, and 2 days later, what does Huberdeau come out and say? The exact same thing I said. And then we get Rutherford with that list of teams that was wrong, totally wrong, in order the way he did it. And then they come out today. He comes out with, well, the only offer the Blues had was Tarasenko, Scandilla, and a draft pick. That is a lie. That is a blatant lie. Guy, you and I work hard to find out what we find out, and guys like you and I and Wendy, we do what we do because we love it, and we're not going to put BS out there that's BS. It's killing me that these guys I used to respect a lot are like starting to get into this sensationalism and they're starting to either play the team side, the player side, the agent side, and it just gets worse and worse. And I'm really concerned about it for Blues hockey.
Yeah, no. Guy, there's some stuff going on in the chat room. I'm trying to figure it out, so you got to give me a second. Matlow says, if we're not in a playoff spot, I wouldn't be surprised to see the veterans go at the deadline 91, 90, and 10. Well, Shin's still got like 2 or 3 years left on his contract. Shin, I don't think Shin is up next year, right?
No, he's not. He's got more than that.
I don't know what it is. People don't understand. No trade clause means no trade clause. Yes, a player can waive it. Doesn't mean he has to. Right? Oh, Shin is. Oh, wow. Yeah, Shin is signed through. Shin is signed through. Wow, it looks like 28. Right? Shin's on a long-term deal.
When did he sign that?
Years.
He's got 6 years remaining. So he one, two.
He's got 6 years on an 8-year deal.
6. Yeah, he signed an extension last year.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I think so. He's got 6 years remaining on his.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the thing that for me, when you look at the Blues for next year, right? Who's available next year? You have O'Reilly. You have Tarasenko. O'Reilly doesn't have a no trade clause. Tarasenko does. Got Bushnevich for 3 more years. Saad for 4 more years. Kairu's an RFA. Kairu's the big one. He is arbitration eligible. So, but right now, I don't see Kairu getting the same 8.1 that Thomas got. To me, Kairu gets 5. I don't see him earning that 8. I just don't see it. Right? You have Barbashev. Barbashev at 2. Barbashev is a $3 to $4 million guy to me. Akari's a 1-year guy. He's going to be gone. You got Walker for an extra year. You have Logan Brown. Logan Brown's a $1 to $2 million guy to me. He hasn't proved anything else. But he's a RFA. You have Torpachenko, RFA. Josh Levo, he's a UFA 1-year guy. When you look at our defense is set until 2023 when you have Mikkola as a UFA. Right? The Blues, the big question marks are O'Reilly, Tarasenko, and Kairu, and Barbashev. Those are the question marks. Everybody else, I don't see them getting signed or, you look at the goalie situation, Grease, whatever it is, he's gone after next year, right? Hoffer's coming up. So for me, I just, that's the way I look at it, right? And I'm trying to get caught back up in the chat room, so apology me. No way Kairu gets the length of our dollar amount Thomas gets. I don't think so. Chris Shockey says Blues fans go 8, but if they see last half of Kairu, but if we see the last half, Kairu, he could be gone. Berube was already short with him. That's very true, right? Lance's ranking of best St. Louis writers. I'm not going to put Lance on the carpet with that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
I'm not going to diss anybody. I'm just disappointed in some of them. One guy I do still like is Jeff Gordon, and I think Jim Thomas does a pretty good job.
But I think Jim Thomas does a great job.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into any more bashing of him. I think everybody knows history, and I'm just saying I'm sad. I used to love these guys and what they put out, and I'd read it every day, and it's just getting to the point. And it's not just writers in St. Louis. It's writers all across the country that are getting to the point to where they're being very political with their articles. They're taking sides, the team side, the player's side, and I miss guys being unbiased. State the facts. Here's what I think, but here are the facts. I mean, you can't go wrong doing it that way.
Well, Jeff Gordon's more of a Cardinals writer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But
than he is a Blues writer.
Yeah, he'll write some Blues stuff.
Yeah. For me, I look at I look at writing or articles, about the Blues 2 different ways. You have your direct news, and then you have your commentary. And unfortunately are separated. I kind of like to have something in between there. right? Jim Thomas writes very direct, news articles. He does do some commentary when he does some of his "Where Are They Now" stuff, but for the most part, they're very, very direct articles, and I get that. I don't have an issue with that. But there's some other ones out there, and I'm not going to mention names. I've said it to some people, and it's come back to bite me in the ass, and I'm not going to do it again. But VDR says, in my opinion, depending on how Colton Ellis plays, he could be up NHL back up next season. I don't think so.
Well,
they're sold on Hoffer. The Blues are sold on Hoffer.
And I'm going to tell you something right now. There's a lot of people that think Hoffer's got a lot more to work on before he becomes the guy next year. If you think Hoffer's got a lot more to work on, hey guys, I judge goalies all day. I played the position for 36 years, some of it at a very high level. And I'm going to tell you, Colton Ellis he's got the tools, but there's a lot he still needs to learn about the game. He's got the mentality. He's got that winner mentality. He doesn't let stuff get into his head, but he'll eventually get there. It's just I think he's the guy that might be more like 2 years, maybe 3 away, but definitely not next year. I think Hoffer's got that pretty sewed up, unless he gets injured or gets hurt and Ellis blows him away. Which, hey, it's always possible, but I just don't see it.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I just, from what I've seen of Ellis, and it's not a lot, but from what I've seen, Ellis just, he's not there yet.
No,
he's not there. Figures. He's just not there yet. So, maybe he does have a good year. Maybe he does have a good year. But for me, this is Hoffer's job to lose, right? I think, and not only that, Grice could just be, Grice is just, what do you call a placeholder, right? If Hoffer fills it up, Lance, they're asking me to ask you what you thoughts on character yesterday. I don't know if you heard it, so I'm not going to go there, man. I guess they had some thoughts on Goldie and them not going to Canada. Look,
I'm going to give you my opinion, and I'll be very non-political about it, okay? My opinion is this. If you want to take the shot, go out and get the shot, but respect those that don't want to get it. If you don't want to get the shot, don't get it, but respect those that want to get it. And I think both Goldie and Arenado, they're not telling people not to get it. They're not telling people to get it. They're just stating the reason why they didn't feel comfortable getting it. And I highly respect those guys. There's an article coming out that it's just terrible and we shouldn't respect their opinions and their decisions. Well, I'm sorry. If I don't care if all 3 of you guys got vaccinated, I could care less. If all 3 of you guys didn't get vaccinated, I could care less. That's my take on vaccination. Make your decision.
Yep. Yeah, no, I and I'm with you, I had, and I don't want to get political, but I had someone bring up, well, they're kicking people out of the military for not getting the shot. They're not kicking people out of the military for not getting the shot. What they're getting kicked out of the military for is disobeying a direct order or a lawful order. There's a lot of stuff like that. Right? And so that's
that
is what it is.
Yep.
Right. Well, guys, great show tonight. Thank you all for showing up. Sorry, I'm a little off head. I'm gonna I'll have to change who I'm tagging on my show from now on. But look, it's a good show. We do the best we can. We're not experts, but we like to talk about hockey. If you can do better, go start your own show and get your own fans. That's the way I feel about it right now. Nick, go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you, my friend.
Windy City Hockey, spelled exactly like this on YouTube, and on Twitter at WC Hockey, and Instagram, same as this.
Yep, and Shaggy, where can we find you, my friend?
Wherever you want, probably in bed sleeping. How do you call it? You know what? You can find me on Twitter at SYank_NYR, as you can see on the front over here. You can check out our podcast, The New York Painters. We are a New York Rangers podcast. And you get to hear more of me ranting all over the place. And we do not have a guy involved, so I do not have someone to really get me angry. But okay, that's why I come on this show. I come on here to get out my anger from each day. And
well, I'm glad you do that,
otherwise,
Mags.
check it out. We always have some great content, and we hope to bring you more. And it's actually always a pleasure to be on here. It's always great hockey talk. That's the fun part.
We try, man. We try.
People giving you a hard time. For those people giving you a hard time, you know what? Some of us put in the effort when it comes to our hockey talk, looking up research and doing things like that. While they just talk from some other parts of their body. So you know what? If they don't put in the effort and the work, let them keep doing that. You know what I mean? I don't care.
Yep. And Lance, where can they find you, my friend?
Well, you can find me personally on Twitter at HockeyGoalieSTL, just like it's spelt. And also our podcast on Twitter is at Drop Hockey Show. And you can also email me personally. And I know a lot of times people don't give out their emails, but send me your love, send me your hate. Doesn't matter. Just send me something. You can find me at LanceD@droppodcast.com.
And everyone knows that I'm Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan. You can find me at HISTL Blues Fan, at STL Fan Report, or at Blue Note Report on Twitter. You can find me on YouTube at Blue Note Report, or Blue Note Fan Report, sorry. And, I'm all over Facebook, or not Facebook. So, if you know me, come, But, all I ask, look, if you want to come on the show and act like you want to act, that's fine. But respect me. If you can't respect me as the host, then don't come. Right? If you can't respect the host, if you can't respect other people, don't be there. That's all I got to say. I appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. Sorry, I'm a little flustered tonight. Hopefully, I'll have a night of closing my eyes and getting out of it. But Lance, Shaggy, and Wendy, thank you so much for being my friends and being on the show. We greatly appreciate you each and every night. All right, so this is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, saying aloha and mahalo. And you got to know that I am bleeding blue with you. And until next time, aloha.